What was that? Something horrible just touched me. Oh, what a terrible feeling. Oh, for heaven's sakes, I was asleep. I must have been dreaming. Let me tell you, that was a bad dream. Did you ever have a bad dream that made you feel afraid? Oh, then you know what I mean by feeling afraid. It's that feeling you get when you think you're in danger. It's not really a good feeling, is it? Of course, nobody wants to be afraid. Certainly not all the time. But is everybody afraid sometimes? Is everyone afraid of something? Well, everyone I know is. Grown-ups, little children, kids your age. Anyone who says that they're never afraid isn't telling the truth. Everybody is afraid sometimes. Being afraid is one of the things that helps keep you safe and healthy and alive. It isn't dumb to be afraid. The other day, I asked some children your age to draw pictures of some of the things that they're afraid of. They're interesting. Let's look at what they drew and listen to what they had to say about it.
I always think there's a vampire under my bed and a werewolf gonna strike me, so I always hide under my sheet. The vampire's all black and has a little black cap on. And the werewolf has ripped pants on and all hairy and blood on his fingers.
I'm afraid of a rattlesnake because if it bites, you could die. When I was 2, I saw a rattlesnake, but I can't remember what it looks like. I ran because it would put its tongue out and I was scared of its tongue.
A fire. Last summer there was 2 on the street. This is my window up there, and there's my lamp, and that's me in bed, and that's the ghost. He has his hands up in the air. He has a face, but no, I can't see no head. He has a sheet over him. His arms are all white. Then I jump out of bed and go under my bed.
My big brother always was afraid of bees. He said he got stung inside his stomach. And he told me once that he got bitten on the nose. So he got me afraid of bees.
When I went in the Washington Monument, like when I looked down, there were all these people watching, and they looked like little toys. I was scared when I went up because the windows were like big and they were about as big as me, and I thought that I might fall out of one.
One night I went to sleep and it started to thunder and lightning outside. The biggest crack of lightning almost hit our backyard tree. So I woke up and I didn't know what was happening, so I tried to turn on the light, but outside the wires had broken. Called my mother. She said just go back to sleep and don't worry about it. Really, I've never gotten to sleep when thunder and lightning is outside.
I'm afraid when I come in a big room, there might be someone in there. I'm afraid that they might come out and grab me or take me away in a big black car. It is very scary to come in a big house like that and see nothing around the house because it is very dark.
How about that? Are you afraid of some of those things too? Are you afraid of thunder and lightning? Are you afraid of snakes? Are you afraid of big dogs? Are you afraid of the dark? I was when I was little. I was afraid of the dark in my bedroom because I thought there was a monster in my closet. My monster had green face with warts all over it, hollow eyes and a long crooked nose, stringy hair and yellow teeth. Ooh, it was ugly. I just knew that if my mother turned out the light and closed the door, the monster would creep out of the closet and pounce on me. I didn't dare go to sleep. I didn't dare close my eyes. Was there a monster in my closet? What do you think? No, there wasn't. Was there a monster anywhere? Yes, there was. Right here, in my head. I used my brain to think him up, to imagine him. I can laugh about it now, but when I was little and afraid, it wasn't any fun at all. Fun? Is being afraid ever any fun? Sure it is. Halloween, scary rides, the roller coaster, House of Horrors. Some of those things send shivers down your spine, don't they? But are you afraid of those things? I mean, really afraid? No? Why not? Isn't it because you know exactly what those things are, and you know that no real harm will come to you? Take the scary rides, for instance. You get a little frightened, but it's exciting. And once the ride is over and you're safe on the ground again, don't you usually want to go for another ride? I thought so. Have you always been afraid of something, even when you were tiny? When you were a baby, you were afraid of 3 things. You were afraid of loud noises, you were afraid of falling, and you were so scared of strange new people when they tried to hold you that sometimes you howled. These strangers were your friends and relatives, and once you got to know their faces, everything was fine. You weren't afraid anymore. Now, when a stranger smiles at you and says, "Good morning," I hope you smile back and say, "Good morning," too. Everybody's a stranger before they become your friend. But you know something? I hope you're still scared enough of people you don't know so that no matter what anyone offers to give you, you will never go for a ride or take a walk with anyone you don't know. Remember Dora Dingbat, who went for a ride with someone she didn't know? We laughed at her, but she was right to be afraid when she found out that the young man who gave her a ride on his motorcycle wasn't taking her home. You could meet someone who means to do you harm. It doesn't happen very often, but every year there are stories in the papers about children who are frightened or hurt by friendly strangers who turn out not to be friendly after all. So, I want you to remember this. If anyone you don't know tries to get you to go someplace with them, don't go. And be sure to tell some grown-up about it right away. As a matter of fact, don't go any place with someone you do know without getting your family's permission first. Your family loves you, and they want to know where you are when you're not with them. Okay? Sometimes being afraid is a good thing, and this is one time it is. Say, remember those pictures we looked at earlier, the ones the children drew? Did you notice that the things they were afraid of were things they could see, like bees and snakes and dogs and lightning, or things they imagined they could see, like vampires and ghosts and werewolves? How about things they couldn't draw pictures of? Are people sometimes afraid of things they cannot see, cannot draw pictures of? Are you afraid of some things you can't see? Nod your head, yes or no, if you're afraid of any of these things. Getting a bad report card, making a mistake and being laughed at, making a mistake or being laughed at when you didn't even mean to be funny at all, getting lost, going home and finding no one there, being punished for something you didn't do. I don't believe you could draw a picture of any of these things, but I do believe that you could be afraid that they might happen to you. Fear is your friend when it keeps you from being hurt, but fear can be your enemy too. It can make you very uncomfortable. It can make you tremble or sweat, giggle, cry, scream, feel sick to your stomach, or even, no kidding, too much fear can make you sick. Well, what can you do about your fears? How about hiding them? Why don't you just pretend they're not there and maybe they'll go away? That they won't do. Hiding your fears is just pretending they're not there. It won't work. What will? The best thing to do when you're afraid of something is to talk it over with someone. Tell your mother or father or some other grown-up, or tell your best friend about it. What happened to the monster in my closet? How did I get rid of him? I told my mother about him. I told her what he looked like and where he lived. And do you know what happened? He went away. Just like that. So, if there's something bothering you, then before you go to bed tonight, why don't you find someone who will listen to you and see if you can talk that old fear to death. See you next time.
All About You is a project of the Agency for Instructional Television.